of the places, Aaron, where the president would likely use his veto pen. Remember, the president didn't use it with a Republican Congress. He's going to be much more likely to do so with Democrats in charge.
All right, John Harwood, thank you very much. First 100 hours, crucial ones indeed. Thanks so much for watching on this special edition of Street Sides. I'll see you back here tomorrow. It is time now, though, for the closing bell. Today with Melissa Lee and Dylan Radigan.
And this is a live look at the arrival of President Ford's casket at Grand Rapids, Michigan on this day of mourning for our nation. Welcome to the closing bell. I'm Melissa Lee, in today for Maria Bartiromo.
And I am Dylan Radigan. U.S. markets are closed for the day. Our nation observing a day of mourning in honor of former President Gerald Ford.
And throughout the hour, Dylan, we will continue our coverage of President Ford's funeral procession. It will make its way to the Ford Museum later on this hour.
And Melissa, it is indeed a day of mourning and reflection about the legacy of our nation's 38th president. CNBC's Hampton Pearson is live in Washington with the latest on today's ceremonies honoring Gerald Ford.
Hello, Dylan. A plane carrying the body of former President Gerald Ford arrived moments ago on the ground in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It left Andrews Air Force Base after a brief departure ceremony here. Vice President Cheney on hand with members of the Ford family, among others, including First Lady Betty Ford. It really capped off a national day of mourning that began here on Capitol Hill, where I'm standing, the flag-draped coffin being carried down the steps of the Capitol one final time as the Ford family looked on, frankly, fighting back tears in some instances. Then, of course, the pictures of the motorcade down Pennsylvania Avenue, past the White House, then on to the National Cathedral, where the national funeral service was held, if you will. A very dramatic moment there inside the church. President Bush escorting 88-year-old Betty Ford, the widow of President Gerald Ford, to her place inside the church just prior to the start of the actual funeral itself. Now, among the eulogies, President Bush talking about the post-Watergate political legacy of Gerald Ford, Henry Kissinger on Gerald Ford, among other things, ending the U.S. involvement in Vietnam, and a lighter moment for all those on hand for a somber occasion, the first President Bush talking about his and Gerald Ford's adventures on the golf course.
And when he put his hand on his family Bible to take the presidential oath of office, he brought grace to a moment of great doubt.
Having known Jerry Ford and worked with him will be our badge of honor for the rest of our lives.
Jerry and I shared a common love of golf and also a reputation for suspect play before large crowds. I know I'm playing better golf.
Margaret Brennan is here with a full wrap-up. Hi, Margaret.
Hey, Melissa. Here are the latest headlines from Cnbc.com. Goodyear Tire and Rubber sees production increasing after reaching an agreement on new contracts with unionized workers. The workers have been on strike for nearly 3 months. Goodyear plans to ramp up production over the next few weeks at 16 plants in the U.S. and Canada. Mortgage Lenders Network USA, a large subprime lender, has stopped funding loans. The move comes amid lower borrowing activity due to rising interest rates. Nucor is buying Canada's Harris Steel for $1.1 billion. Harris makes reinforced steel bars for construction companies and wire mesh for the mining industry. The deal will expand Nucor's global business and product lines. And Celgene's Chief Executive Officer Saul Bearer has been elected chairman of that company. He will replace John Jackson, who retired at the end of last year. That's the latest in business news from CNBC.com, first in business worldwide. Melissa?
Thank you very much, Margaret. And we continue our business news coverage. Over the course of this hour, we will find out how you can make big money in the new year on everything from M&A to venture-backed IPOs to the tech sector. And a little later on, Dylan and the rest of the Fast Money boys will read their market tea leaves to give us some insight on the potential big winners and losers of the year. You won't want to miss that. That is coming up at 3:50 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Closing Bell.
And Melissa, we begin with the M&A story. 2006, a blockbuster year for buyouts. You know that. According to Thomson Financial, worldwide deal making coming in at $3.7 trillion, beating the previous record of $3.4 trillion. Center on the closing bell, it is the 7 for 07. We're following the big money into the world of venture-backed IPOs. We thought about buying, here's a little selling. How hot is the outlook for new issues? Find out what's new for 07 coming up.
And we leave you with a live shot of President Ford's arrival in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he will be interred just hours ago. Remember the nation remembering President Ford in a state funeral at the National Cathedral in Washington. We'll be right back.
Amid all the turmoil, Gerald Ford was a rock of stability. And when he put his hand on his family Bible to take the presidential oath of office, he brought grace to a moment of great doubt.
Who's faster? Sprint.
The excitement, the thrill of getting the perfect mattress at the perfect price during Sleepy's Holiday Mattress Sale going on now. Get big savings on America's largest selection of famous brand mattresses. Save 20% off other stores' advertised prices on same or comparable mattresses, or it's free. Finance and pay no interest for 36 months. Sleepy's Holiday Mattress Sale.
Trust Sleepy's for the rest of your life.
Going on now.
What's your reason for calling Empire today for your new window treatments? Shop at home convenience? We bring brand name samples to your home where it's easy to match your decor. Immediate installation? Empire installs next day, so you'll enjoy your new window treatments right away. On a budget? Empire's warehouse direct prices save you money, plus no payments till April 2008. Get new window treatments for all the right reasons. Call Empire today.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
You're taking a look at live pictures of President Ford's casket arriving in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Of course, we'll have continuing coverage of all the funeral activities right here on CNBC as well as on Cnbc.com. Well, venture-backed IPOs seem to be perking up these days. In the latest report from Dow Jones Venture One, the fourth quarter recorded the best results in 2006 for venture-backed companies, with 18 initial public offerings that raised a total of $1.2 billion. So, will 2007 be just as bright for venture-backed firms and liquidity overall? Here to talk about it in our ongoing look at 7 for 07, Jessica Canning. She's the research director at Dow Jones Venture One. Welcome to you, Jessica.
Hi, good afternoon.
It seems like it wasn't too long ago when we were talking about a hostile environment